Hi everyone, I'm Macy and welcome back or welcome to the Crafty Magic of Macy, my YouTube channel about all things cross stitch and other crafty things. It's so great to see you guys here. Since my last video I hit 100 subscribers and I am so thrilled to have all of you join me on this Flosstube and crafting adventure. Thank you so much for all of you for liking and subscribing to my videos and taking the time to leave comments. Please continue to do so if you see it in your heart to do so. I would love to have more stitchy friends here. Today, I am back finally with my June update. Everything I'm about to talk about here today is what I stitched in June, and this, I have to say, is going to be a little bit of a shorter video just because I was gone for probably more than half of June traveling for various weddings and conventions and all kinds of vacations. And so because of that, I really didn't have a ton of time to stitch. So I only worked on 3 projects. But despite that, I still had time to make some progress on these beautiful pieces. And I had a little bit of time for shopping too, which we'll talk about in my haul segment towards the end of the video. But thank you all for coming to my channel, and I'm so glad to have you guys here. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is actually a brand new start. This is one that I did plan to start in June, and I'm so happy I actually did it. I do have a little bit of a sad start on this one, but you know, it's something, and it is a full coverage, so something is quite a lot on a full coverage. For some reason, back in May, I started to get the hankering to do some full coverage stitching, probably because I've seen so many amazing floss tubers working pretty much exclusively with full coverage pieces, and it made me want to start working on those once again. So I picked up one of the first kits that my mom actually got for me when I started stitching, which is this Bucilla pack, which is from Plaid, and it's called An Afternoon Nap. This was a kit, I think it was like from Walmart or something, but it looks just like my Tabby Cat Romeo, so I couldn't be happier to finally start this project. Mine does not look like this yet, but it's so beautiful, and I cannot wait to show you my small start. Since this is a kit, I am using all the called for, everything that came with the kit, and what came with it is actually an 18 count Aida, and so here is my little start. Like I said, not a ton there. I actually started in the center, which is something I don't typically do, but for this time I decided to because I kind of wanted to start on the cat because that is what I'm most interested in as a cat lover. So I started right on the kind of corner of his head, I think, is where I'm stitching. Doesn't look like that yet, but hopefully it will very, very soon. This piece, I am really enjoying stitching it. It's fun to do some full coverage after not doing any for a while. But right now it looks like nothing, so I will say the motivation to work on this quickly went down because if you've seen my other floss tubes, you might remember that I said I struggle with stitching more neutral colors, the browns, that kind of thing. I like color, so this is already getting to me a little bit, but I definitely still want to make progress because there's something about stitching full coverage that really just scratches an itch for me, and so I definitely do plan to go back to this soon, but that is my little start there. The next piece that I worked on in June was actually a project that I started back in May. And I started this with my friend Crafty Kate 616 on Instagram. I'll put her information down below if you want to go follow her. But I've actually been stitching this with her. We started it on the same day, and we are so excited to be both making progress on this pattern. And it makes me super happy to be working on this with another person because it does keep pushing me to get progress, because every time she gets something done it makes me want to do more, and maybe even a little bit vice versa. So it's just definitely been very productive for me to stitch on this with another stitcher. And so what project I'm talking about is Delft House by Hello from Liz Matthews. This was part of her Patreon a couple months ago. I don't think it's any longer available, but I'm sure it will pop up as a new release in maybe a year or so. But I definitely love this piece. Here's what it will look like when it is finished. The blues are absolutely gorgeous. They are all NPI silks, and I am stitching with all the called for. And here's my progress that I made in May. Not a ton, but I had some stuff done. And now, here's what it looks like now. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Verdal, and it is my first time working on 40 count, and it's my first time stitching 1/2, which I am super loving. So fast, so much easier it seems, and it looks so dainty. Let me go ahead and zoom that in a little bit. I haven't gotten to the beautiful motifs in the center of this piece quite yet, as you can see, but the next thing I plan to do is actually the bird, because after doing this much border, I am tired of border, and I think I will burn out if I keep doing border. But where I got to here is about halfway through the top, so I did make a lot of progress with the border, so I feel like I ate my vegetables enough. Now it's time to kind of move on to some of the center motifs. My plan going forward is probably to do a center motif, then move back to a little bit of border, center motif, because especially the petals on these parts here, that was a bear to stitch. By the time I finished that last one going down, I was tired because it's just a lot of just counting, and especially on 40 count, like it had to be bright out. I had to have my good light on to be able to stitch this, but it's absolutely stunning. I love how dainty it looks. I'm really happy with how this is shaping up, and honestly just looking at it again makes me want to pull this out like now, because it's just so beautiful. Last but not least, I stitched on my favorite piece right now. It feels bad saying that, but let's be real, it's true. If you follow me on Instagram or if you've seen my other Flosstube episodes, you probably know this to be true, and this is Master of the Macabre, Edgar Allan Poe. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I'm an English teacher, and Edgar Allan Poe is literally my favorite ever. I love all things spooky, all things gothic literature. I even wrote my undergrad thesis all about him and his writing, and especially about his lesser known works. So I'm a big Poe fanatic, as you might be able to tell. And so my favorite piece right now, this Master of the Macabre Edgar Allan Poe, is by the Witchy stitcher, and I got progress to report, thankfully. This is probably the piece I worked on the most in June, as you could probably tell. I was so excited to show this to you. I didn't even show you where I was before, but here is where I was before. And you can see it compared to where I am now. Now he's got a forehead, he's got his hair filled in, but I'm definitely so happy with how he's shaping up. I love him staring at me. I know I've said that in past videos. I know some of you guys do not like that as much, but I'm really liking how this is turning out. This I'm stitching with all the called for DMCs on a 14 count Atomic Ranch Ada in the colorway Joy Lynn, and I absolutely love this red fabric. I know it's wrinkly, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at ironing my stuff before these videos, but I'm absolutely loving how he's popping on here. The only thing I did sub out is instead of 310 DMC for the black, I'm using Sulky, and I chose to do a double strand of Sulky just to really make it vibrant and to really cover up that red there, but I'm absolutely loving it. It's a bear to work on a little bit with that double of Sulky, but I'm loving it. I definitely worked on this a lot in June because this was my travel stitch, because if you watch my prior Flosstube, you know I outlined his hair and his forehead. That way I could just go ahead and fill in. And although I didn't end up stitching in the car like I had hoped, I was able to do it having some downtime on my trips, so definitely was able to get some work done on him. He's definitely a piece I will be picking up next month, or I guess this month in July, because let's be real, I'm loving him. I definitely want to do his nose next. I'm dreading the other half of his hair, so you may not see that super soon, but one day when I'm feeling brave, I will outline the rest, his hair on the other side. That way I can just fill it in some other day. But here is my progress, so to say. That's all I worked on in the month of June. I know it's not a ton of progress, but I definitely am so happy with what I accomplished. It wasn't a ton, but like I said, I literally was out of my house, out of even my state for more than half the month last month, so I am definitely so happy to have what progress I have done. And I can already tell you, seeing as it is already like almost halfway through July at the time that I'm filming this, I have already a lot more to show you in July, so definitely stay tuned for my next Flosstube episode, because I definitely will have a lot of fun projects then, including some new starts and some projects I haven't shown you guys in a long time, which we'll talk about right now with my plans. So if you watched my plans on my last Flosstube, you might know that I'm kind of bad with sticking with plans, especially when I'm busy, when I'm traveling, things like that. Since it is July and I am very much a mood and seasonal stitcher, My plans for July are to stitch some Christmas in July patterns as well as return to some of my Halloween patterns. You might be wondering why return to the Halloween ones this time, but seeing as I started to see people pick them up recently and to kind of in anticipation of Halloween, which will be here before we know it, and I know I won't have much time to stitch in October, I figured I kind of want to return to some old favorites. So one of the pieces I'm definitely giving love to in July is going to be this Mill Hill kit from the Buttons and Beads Autumn series, which is called Haunted Tower. This is what the finished project will look like. And this is one that I made a lot of progress on last Halloween when I started it, but I definitely want to make a lot more progress. So stay tuned for that in my next Flosstube. I definitely will be working on this. I think after the afternoon napful coverage, it made me want to return to this one because this one I'm closer to a finish and I'm starting to want to do beads for some reason. I don't know. I like to do that kind of stuff. I like to torture myself, so to say, but this is one I definitely will be picking up in July. And then not only that, for Halloween stitching, I saw that Tiny Modernist had an awesome stitch along coming out right now in July called Not So Scary Apothecary. And both my parents are actually retired pharmacists, and we love all things apothecary themed in my house. So because of that, I really decided to start this SAL. This is gonna be the first SAL that hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm gonna keep up with. I did start it a little bit late, so I missed the first release. So I'm trying to get caught up, but you'll definitely see that in my next Flosstube because I already have some of the motifs done. If you wanna see my progress in live time, definitely follow me on Instagram because I do try to post progress pictures as soon as I have enough to show. So definitely follow me there. I'm the Crafty Magic of Macy on Instagram as well, and I'll leave that link down below. The last thing that I for sure want to do in July, besides work on some of my other whips like I talked about, like Poe, is going to be the Christmas in July stitching. And so because of that, I'm going to pick back up my Mirabilia Christmas Elf Fairy, which this is what she's gonna look like. If you watched my whip parade at the start of 2026, you may recall that I only had a teeny bit of the wing and then a lot of her dress done. I will show you my progress in my new whip parade coming out very, very soon, probably next week. And I will also show you this in my next Flosstube update because I am determined to make progress on her, because if she's not hanging on my wall this Christmas, I'm gonna be very, very disappointed. I need her done for this Christmas. That is my goal. So in order to make that happen, I have to actually stitch on her because I don't think I stitched on her at all this first half of the year. So now is her time to shine. You're gonna be seeing a lot more of this little Mirabilia. This is my first Mirabilia, and like I said, I'm not super far right now, but hopefully very, very soon you're gonna see a lot more progress on her. That is all of my plans for the coming month, or I guess we're halfway through. For July, the remaining bit of July, I have already started to make progress on these. That's why I'm not showing you quite yet where my progress is, because I gotta save something for my next Flosstube episode. The next segment that I wanted to do is give a couple more shout outs. So one of these people actually shouted me out in her video, and then the other one is a new Flosstuber that I really just wanted to promote because although my channel's small, I figured I'd love to share another newer Flosstuber with you guys because I've really been enjoying her videos. So first up, the first person that gave me a shout out in one of her recent videos is the House of Hood, and that is Holly. Holly is an awesome new Flosstuber. She only has a couple Flosstube episodes out, but she's really just hitting Flosstube by storm. She really is just racking up those followers, and I couldn't be happier for her. Her videos will keep you entertained for a long time, and honestly, her videos are just super engaging because she's working on a lot of different projects that I haven't really seen before. I highly recommend checking out her channel. She's super nice, super friendly in the comment section, and I just am loving seeing her stitching journey. I will leave all of her information down below. And then the next person that I want to shout out is a brand new Flosstuber. She only has, I think, 2 videos out at the moment, and I watched them both very recently. I love them. I also enjoy her because I like my long videos, but I also like my shorter videos. That's why on my channel, I try to do like a little bit of a mix of both because sometimes we just don't have time for an hour-long video. So I really love how short and just to the point her videos are, but she still has a lot of character and personality. And this is Janet X Stitch. Her channel is so awesome. Like I just said, her channel is already very vibrant. I love the project she's working on. She's a big fan of Jed X Stitch, which that is something I really want to get into for the rest of 2026, is working on some Jed X Stitch patterns. So definitely check her out if that sounds at all interesting to you. Like I said, her videos are a little bit on the shorter end and she only has a couple out, so you can go binge those right now. Again, her information will be down below. I'm definitely hoping to shout out some more floss tubers in my upcoming videos, but we'll just do a little at a time because there's so many amazing people out there. I've been spending so much time watching Flosstube since I got into Flosstube myself, and I'm sure you might see me pop up in the comment section of other people's videos because I'm just truly loving this corner of the internet. Last but not least, I do want to share a little bit of stitchy kindness with you guys, as well as my haul. I don't have a huge haul because, let's be real, after my past hauls, I really needed to cool it a little bit. But I did buy a couple goodies, which we'll talk about in a second. But before I do so, I actually must have had luck on my side this past month because I won 3 giveaways, and I am so thankful to have won these 3 things. So these are all from different people, and I don't believe they're here on YouTube, so I'm not gonna say who they are. But I definitely am thrilled to have these new fabrics and items in my life. So the first one, I forget exactly what fabric this is, but it is absolutely stunning. I saw this color in the giveaway and I knew I had to enter because that variegation, that modeling is just so beautiful. Seems super summery, super fun. I don't know when I'm gonna start on this, but I am so excited to have this in my stash. It's so pretty. The other fabric that I won in a giveaway is a 28 count casual linen in the colorway Sand, and I am absolutely obsessed with this because it is a very nice warm colored neutral. And even though I don't like stitching neutral things, a lot of times because I stitch such beautiful, colorful pieces, I need a more neutral backdrop. So I never buy this kind of fabric, but then I always need it, of course, because again, if you have a very colorful piece, sometimes it's hard to match it with a very modeled, colorful fabric in the backdrop. So I'm really glad to have this in my collection. This is something I definitely plan to use soon, especially with fall and Halloween stitching coming up, but absolutely thrilled to have this in my collection. Like I said, it's not something I probably would have bought just because honestly my fabrics that I purchased just aren't the most likely to be used half the time, but this is one that probably actually will get used in my collection. Absolutely stunning. Love this color. Sand is just such a beautiful color. This also feels like it could go summer, could go fall, and I'm just super excited to have this. And then last but not least, I actually won a copy of the 2017 summer issue of Punch, Needle, and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I have heard so many amazing things about this magazine, especially from the Steel City Stitchers, and unfortunately I just haven't subscribed to it yet. I definitely might be tempted, especially once I dive into Punch Needle a little bit, but I haven't subscribed, so I haven't actually gotten to see any of these in person before, and the quality of this magazine is absolutely incredible. The pictures are just so gorgeous, and everything about it, you can just tell the production value is there, from the paper, from the photographs, from the patterns themselves, as well as the designers, because I know Teresa Kogut's in this one. She's in a lot of them, and I'm a Teresa Kogut fan, so definitely thrilled to have this. There's a couple patterns in here that I really have my eye on starting hopefully soon, and especially seeing as I've only stitched one patriotic thing, I definitely will dive into here for maybe some other inspiration, because seeing everybody stitch things for the 250th anniversary of America this July has really inspired me to maybe stitch something patriotic in the coming year. We're gonna say year because month is just not gonna happen. Last but not least, I have my haul to share with you. So what happened was when I signed up for the Not So Scary Apothecary Sal, I realized I did not have the called for fabric or anything like it. Because like I said, I hoard colorful fabrics, but I don't hoard neutral ones like I should. So because of that, I did go ahead and put in an order. I did get a piece of vintage country mocha, which I don't have to show you because I have been stitching on it and completely forgot to gather it for this video, but I did get a 32 count piece of that so that I could start the Not So Scary Apothecary, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Love that fabric. Now I see why it's such a staple. It's my first time stitching on it and I couldn't be happier with the color. But of course, I wanted to get some free shipping, so I had to add things to my Lindy Stitches order, and as per usual, Lindy Stitches does not disappoint with a couple freebies and cute little additions. And one thing that I thought was amazing was she included this door hanger, which just says, "Please do not disturb, I'm stabbing things." And I just think this is hilarious. So I'm so happy to stick this on my office door because I just think it's funny. It's giving me some inspiration for possibly some table gifts or something to include with my table gifts at the next retreat that I go to. But really like this. I think this is so clever and I love having this in my life. Not only that, it did have a little ad for the Midsummer Stitch, so I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you all that I will be attending the Midsummer Stitch. It is coming up actually this weekend, so I'm so excited to take part in it. It is taking place from July 18th to the 19th, and it's gonna have some exclusive patterns from the Blue Flower, Cam the Stitcher with her House of Cam, as well as Jed X Stitch. And as soon as I saw the exclusive from Jed X Stitch, or the sneak peek of it, I knew I had to attend this event. I knew I needed it in my life. I will say I got very, very jealous that I didn't go to Midsummer Stitch last summer because Jed X Stitch's exclusive there, absolutely gorgeous. I think it was called Summer's Day. I love that pattern so much. The second she releases it for the general public, I will buy it, and I'm desperately hoping she has it for sale at Midsummer Stitch because I will buy that so quickly because it is just so beautiful. But definitely looking forward to this. Definitely planning to start my first Jed X Stitch pattern at it, and then also hopefully making some progress on my whips that I already talked about in this video. If you do happen to see me in any of the chat rooms or just around the virtual retreat, feel free to say hi. I would love to meet you guys. Speaking of Jed X Stitch, I impulse bought a couple things because as we know, free shipping is tempting, so I had to get that, price up there a little bit so that I could get that free shipping. So in order to reach that, and I really didn't want more patterns because my patterns to be stitched is too many and I'm getting overwhelmed. So I decided to go with some Threadworks flosses instead. And so what I did was I literally just picked up all of the Threadworks that I didn't already have that are used in a Jed X Stitch pattern. Do I plan to stitch all of those recent releases from Jed X Stitch? No. But do I think I will use these? Yes. I definitely could see me stitching them someday. They're a little bit too big for me to start right now, but I am so happy to have these because Threadworks are just so hard for me to find. I really have only found like 1 or 2 stores and they're like 5 hours away that sell them. So I figured why not add to cart? I love the variegation in them and I plan to use these even if I just make like a conversion or just want to sub out a pretty color. But these are my Threadworks colors that I purchased. If you're curious what numbers they are, I can definitely tell you in the comments down below. I'm not going to go through them since they're just numbers, but absolutely thrilled to add these to my floss collection. And then the other deciding factor as to why I bought my fabric at Lindy Stitches is there was a needle minder that I have had my eye on since the day it came out because I love turtles. I literally have an entire Christmas tree dedicated to turtle ornaments. And so as soon as I saw Primrose Cottage come out with this sea turtle needle minder, I knew I had to have it. And this thing sold out so quickly. I was on the waitlist notification list on Lindy Stitches because I wanted this so badly that the second it came back in stock, I was like, I must get it, I must get it. And of course I didn't put in my order right then, but I am so thankful that this was left in stock because I love this needle minder. I saved it for this video in its packaging, but now I'm gonna break it open and use it because she is just so cute. And I cannot wait to use this on one of my projects. Speaking of turtles, I feel like I just had the perfect segue into my next product because I like what I like. What can I say? I got this cross stitch kit. Again, didn't need it, but I saw this little face and it's called Baby Sea Turtle. and it is a cross stitch kit. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that name, but here it is. Look at that turtle's face. When I saw this, I was like, need to add to cart. It wasn't even that expensive, so I'm so thrilled to have this. I shouldn't start this anytime soon since I already started a full coverage, have literally 2 full coverage kits going right now, but that face is tempting me. Oh my goodness. Adorable. And honestly, this brand, just as a brand, is also tempting me because literally all of those on the back, I want them all. I think the jellyfish one in the center here, it's hard to see on this paper, but this one was out of stock, I think, on Lindy Stitches, but it's something I might keep my eye out for, as well as these cats are cute, the seahorse is cute. I think this might be a new favorite kit brand. Hopefully the quality's good because the artwork is so adorable, right up my alley. Cannot wait to start this hopefully soon. And then last but not least, I did pick up another Mill Hill kit. My mother is not helpful to me when it comes to spending money because she'll be like, yes, buy it, you need that. And especially when it comes to stitching things, she's like, yep, you need it. Like, it's not gonna go bad. You have the rest of your life to stitch, so might as well buy the pattern, buy the kit, etc. So I bought this other Mill Hill kit, which is part of the Autumn Harvest collection, and it is pumpkin pie. And this is super cute. It's super small, so this seems doable. I'm definitely going to start this fall. And I think this could be like a really cute fridge magnet or an ornament. We'll see what I decide once I finish it, but absolutely adorable. I am loving these Mill Hill kits. Lindy Stitches actually just recently did a video too where she got into the Mill Hill kit as fridge magnets craze, and she was showing these off on her channel as well, and it just really does inspire me to do more Mill Hill kits. I know I should finish the one I started first, but you know, this one's tiny. Like, you can see it's just so tiny. Like, that paper Ada really can't be that big, so it'll be easy, right? Right? Sure. But yeah, this is one you'll definitely see on my channel soon because I do want to start this very, very soon. So I know this is a little bit of a shorter video. I'm so sorry if you prefer the longer ones. I'm trying to stitch more so I can make these videos a little bit longer for you guys, but at least, you know, I had some progress to show you, and at least a little progress is some progress. So super excited to share this with you, share my little bit of haul. And if you made it to the end of the video, feel free to leave me down below a comment just letting me know how your summer's going, if you're doing anything special, or what the favorite thing that you're stitching on right now is. I would love to know. And just thank you so much for spending this time on my channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe this video. It really does help me out, and I really do appreciate all of the subscribers I've acquired, and I just love being able to share in this community with you all. So thank you so much for clicking on my video and spending this time with me. My mid-year whip parade will be out very, very soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But until then, I will see you next time, and don't forget to stay crafty. Bye, everyone.